Imagine you're the reigning champ of a sport, undefeated for decades. But now there is a new player on the scene. Younger, faster, getting better every day. At first, you shrug it off. But then they start winning. Suddenly, your top spot isn't guaranteed anymore. Now, you've got two choices. Do you step aside gracefully? Or do you do whatever it takes to stay on top? This isn't just a hypothetical, it's a historical pattern. One that's played out time and time again. And it's got a name, the Thucydides Trap. Basically, when a rising power challenges an established one, tensions explode. And more often than not, the story ends in a war. And here's the scary part. Over the last 500 years, this scenario has played out 16 times. Guess how many times it ended in a war? 12. And right now, we might be watching round 17 because China is rising and the US isn't backing down. So are we on the brink of another global collision? Or is there a way to break the cycle before history repeats itself? My name is Shyam, and let's unravel this thread. Alright, let's hit rewind. About 2,400 years back to ancient Greece. Athens is booming. Powerful navy, massive economy, expanding influence. Sparta was the reigning superpower, but they are nervous. Why? Because Athens is rising fast. According to Thucydides, a Greek historian at that time, Sparta's fear of Athens made war inevitable. It was the rise of Athens and the fear that it inspired in Sparta that made war inevitable. That's the Thucydides trap in a nutshell. It's not about power shifts, it's about fear. And when fear takes over, rational thinking goes out of the window. Fast forward to today and tell me that doesn't sound familiar. China's economy is exploding, its military is expanding, and its influence is growing. The US, well, it's been the top dog for decades, and it doesn't plan on stepping aside anytime soon. History tells us that when one power rises and other feels threatened, bad things happen. But here's the good news. It's not a done deal. Out of those 16 historical power struggles, 4 ended without war. So the real question is, can the US and China be the 5th? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If history has greatest hits album, this pattern is on repeat. Let's break down a few cases. First, Britain versus Germany, World War I. Early 1900s, Germany is on fire. Industrial boom, rising economy, powerful navy. Britain, not happy. They see Germany's rise as a direct threat. The tension keeps escalating, and before you know it, boom, World War I. Second, the US versus Soviet Union, the Cold War. After World War II, two superpowers emerged, the US and the Soviet Union. Capitalism versus communism, a global showdown. But here's the twist. They never actually fought each other directly. Instead, it was a long, messy game of proxy wars, arms race, and nuclear standoffs. Proof that superpowers can clash without self-destructing. Third, Japan versus the US, World War II. Japan is expanding fast, snatching up territory across Asia. The US, not cool with that. They hit Japan with sanctions, cutting off their access to vital resources. Japan, backed into a corner, hits back. Pearl Harbor 1941. And just like that, America is in the war. And finally, the Napoleonic Wars, when France took on the world. Napoleon's France was dominating Europe, expanding like wildfire. But the old powers, Britain, Austria, Russia, weren't having it. They teamed up to stop him. And the result? War. Lots and lots of war. See the pattern? Power shifts, tension builds, and eventually, conflict. Now, let's take a look at the US and China today. Trade wars, military buildup, rising tensions. Feels like history might be hitting repeat again. So the real question is, can we break the cycle? If China's rise were a movie, it would be a fast-forward montage. Not long ago, China was known for cheap manufacturing. Now, it's the world's second largest economy, leading in AI, 5G, and global trade. The US? Well, they've been running the show since World War II, setting the rules, leading alliances, and keeping military bases in over 70 countries. And when unstoppable force meets an immovable object, well, you get a power struggle. Let's take a look at biggest battlefields in this showdown. First, trade war. Once upon a time, the US and China were business besties. China made stuff, America bought it. Simple. But then, China got too powerful. The US hit back, accusing China of unfair trade, tech theft, and currency manipulation. What happened next? Tariffs, sanctions, economic warfare. And suddenly, the price of everything went way up. Second, the South China Sea. China's been building islands, stacking them with military bases, and claiming the whole region. The US is not impressed. So America sends warships to patrol the area, and China flexes back. It's like a neighborhood dispute, except instead of fences, they've got fighter jets and aircraft carriers. Third, the tech war. China's leading in AI, 5G, and semiconductors, the stuff that will define the next century. The US, feeling the heat, bans Huawei, blocks chip exports, and throws billions into staying ahead. It's not just about businesses, it's about who controls the future. And finally, the ideology clash. The US champions democracy and free speech, and China, state control and strict one-party rule. Both are trying to shape the world in their image. It's a global tug-of-war with every country caught in the middle. Here's the deal. History tells us when a rising power meets an established one, things get messy. But does messy have to mean a war? Maybe not. The US and Britain managed a peaceful transition of power. Nuclear weapons make full-scale war unthinkable. And the US and Chinese economies are too intertwined for a full-scale collapse. The real battle, it's not US versus China, it's fear versus understanding. So what do you think? Are we on a track for another historic showdown, or is there a way out? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this video thought-provoking, hit like, subscribe, and share it because conversations like this, they matter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.